What's up, Riz here. In this video, I'm going to be doing a breakdown on Interactive Brokers, my favorite brokerage that I use and have been using for many years, along with many of the masterclass students and elite members as well. Now, I will start off by saying that I am in no way affiliated with Interactive Brokers. I'm not being paid by them or being given any gift or incentive. I'm not an affiliate at all. I'm simply sharing a little bit of information about this brokerage, why I use it, the pros, some of the cons, and kind of doing a little bit of a walkthrough of the application process as best as possible to kind of show you a little bit on how to go about it, because it can be a bit daunting for those that are new to trading and who are opening up an account, because IBKR, Interactive Brokers, is pretty strict on their compliance and requirements, which isn't a bad thing because they are an international global brokerage that is, operates in approximately 33 countries, I believe. Yeah, 33 countries. It's also a publicly traded company. It's on the NASDAQ as symbol IBKR. It has been in business for many, many, many years now. And in fact, many institutional clients like, proprietary trading firms, hedge funds, family offices, all that. They also use Interactive Brokers as their main brokerage as well. So continuing on, why Interactive Brokers? Well, Interactive Brokers is one of those brokerages that is not just in the US. If you, depending on where you're from, whether you're from Europe or Canada, it's pretty much uniform across all 33 countries. And it's not limited in the sense that, okay, you have to be only a U.S. resident to be able to open up the account, kind of like how it is for Fidelity and Charles Schwab and Robinhood and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this, I think, is leaps and bounds better, simply because you get complete access to their trading platform on the desktop, which is feature-packed, very extensive, a little bit overwhelming a bit, but once you get used to it, once you come around to practicing and getting a feel for it, it becomes a lot more intuitive, becomes a lot easier to navigate and make the most of. And honestly, I can't go without it. Like, no other brokerage platform kind of does it for me anymore, because I'm so used to and have all the stuff that I need on Interactive Brokers platform, which is called Trader Workstation. They also have their fantastic mobile app on Android and iOS, and it's free, obviously, and it's honestly one of those things that I feel is super easy to use, awesome, no matter whether you're new to trading or not, and it has a lot of features as well. Pretty much everything you can do, that you were on the platform. They also allow you to trade pretty much every asset class out there. Stocks, ETFs, if you want to trade even bonds. They got CFDs, they got futures, they have even cryptocurrency trading, right, as well. And they also have fractional shares, kind of like how Robinhood does as well. So not only that, they also provide you with a little bit of interest on your account if you carry more than $10,000 in it in cash. So they give you, pay you a little bit of interest. And on top of that, they're known for having the best margin rates, meaning if you're borrowing capital to trade, you're using leverage, they have one of the best rates in the business, period. It's very competitive. And not only that, they've also recently, created something called IBKR Lite, which allows you to open up an account and not pay any commissions. Now, keep in mind, this is only applicable, from what I understand, to U.S. residents. For countries like Canada, maybe even Europe, European countries, I think you have to go with IBKR Pro, and I will kind of break down a little bit of the details of that. But continuing on, as you can see, they're fantastic. You can simply go on the website, type in Google interactivebrokers.com, and once you're here, give it a little whirl. But the most important thing we want to do is just take a look at commission tiers here. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to IBKR Lite and IBKR Pro. So if I click the compare button here, you'll be able to see, and I'll quickly run through this. So again, you can change currencies, bonds, mutual funds, futures, options. Obviously, I can't believe I missed options. And with IBKR and Pro. So there's no limitation in that. What there are limitations in is kind of the commission. So for stocks on the US side and ETFs, it's commission free for IBKR Lite. With IBKR Pro, you're paying, and you can select fixed or tiered pricing, and I'll go through that shortly. But then there's actually a benefit. If you're paying, there's a benefit to that, and I'll get in that shortly. But you have access to all the instruments. You just have to make sure you apply to be able to trade them, and I'll walk you guys through that. Again, another great thing is there's no minimum balance. IBKR used to have a minimum balance a few years ago, but I think it was $5,000 or $10,000 US. Not anymore. No minimum balance, no maintenance fees. Plus, if you are on IBKR Pro, okay, they'll pay you a little bit of interest on your cash. All right. Notice how if you're on Lite, you will get less interest. Right. So margin loans, when you are borrowing capital, you can still have a margin account on IBKR Lite, but you're going to pay higher interest, benchmark rate plus 2.5%. Whereas if you're on IBKR Pro, it's benchmark rate plus 1.5%. Okay, this is fantastic, one of the lowest values in the business. You also have access to a bit of other things, other features here, but ultimately, let me break it down for you. If you have, unless you're in Canada, which you won't have a choice, you have to go with IBKR Pro at the time of this video. But if you're in the US and you're trading with less than $2,000 or $3,000, that's fine. Consider going IBKR Lite. But if you're trading with more than $3,000 or so, honestly, I think it makes sense to go with IBKR Pro, because if you use margin, if you use different asset classes, you're way better suited. You'll get better fills. You'll get to choose whether you want fixed or tiered pricing, and tiered pricing can be better. I use tiered pricing because if you're trading, unless you're trading thousands of shares at a time, tiered pricing always works out good. Okay, so that's my recommendation personally. I use tiered pricing for all of it, and of course, because I'm in Canada, I am an IBKR Pro. I don't even have the choice to use IBKR Lite. But for me, it makes sense. Margin rates, everything is fantastic. So they also give you pretty much in a nutshell. It's a little bit more complex, but in a nutshell, they give you pretty much 1 for 3 margin. So if you have $10,000, you could technically use another $20,000, $20,000 or $30,000 roughly. I'm not saying that's exactly accurate, but roughly speaking, you can assume that you can use another $20,000 easily if you just have $10,000 of your own money. Okay, so 1 for 3. And it's pretty fantastic. I'm not saying you should go and max that out, but the choice and the option is there. Moving on, you can pick a few different accounts there. Depending on what country you're in, you'll have different choices. And of course, you will need some of your details, and you will need your ID, like whether it's driver's license, passport, social security. You'll need your address and phone number details to put in, and a bit of other information. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and what I'm going to show you here actually is what you want to do is when you go on the main website, go open account, start application if you haven't done yet. Okay. If you are completely new to IBKR, you don't have an account, then you can start here, create an account. But if you already have one, all right, if you already have an account and you just want to, if you already have, like you're a member of IBKR, but you just want to open a secondary account, you can have multiple accounts, right? You can click here, right? So I've gone ahead and created an account, although I'm already an IBKR member, client, and I already have multiple accounts. I don't need to do that. I'm creating an all new account just for example purposes for you to kind of walk you through it. So once you do this, once you fill this in and you go create an account, you're going to get an email. All right. And with the email, you go in there, you click it to confirm, and then it's going to bring you you click the link in there to confirm, it's going to bring you here, right? So let me just put in, I just created like, placeholder information here just to walk you through the account opening process as best as I can, because they will ask you quite a few questions, and depending on how you answer, you will either have access or won't have access to certain products, right? So like options are more complex, futures are a little bit more riskier. So in order to get access to those different kinds of products, you need to meet the requirements. So this is a standard about you kind of form. Fill this out. I'm not going to fill this out and live for privacy reasons, plus for time reasons. So I'll fill this out here. What you want to do is fill this out, your accurate information, and then go down here and press fill out these things and press continue. All right, and also select what is most suitable here. Ideally, you want to have something here, like pick property, pick income from employment. Those two you wanna pick. Maybe pick market trading profits if you already trade, or if you're transferring your account here from another brokerage. All right, pick those three. Those are just my suggestions, and then go down and select continue. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly fill this out and then flip to the next page. Okay, so we are now at the next screen. I filled out the previous information. So the account type, you want to select margin. Now keep in mind, I've gone ahead and selected an individual account. You can open registered retirement accounts as well. If you're in Canada, that could be a TFSA or RSP. In the US, you can open up an IRA or Roth IRA. But to keep things simple, I am keeping this just as an individual account and walking you through that. And the reason being that with an individual account, you can select margin. Margin will allow you to borrow money. Now, if you have over $100,000, you can select, $110,000, you can select portfolio margin. But if you don't, then just select margin. All right, you can select and whatever is most reasonable here. But keep in mind, I will say, I don't want you to lie, but I want you to kind of be a little bit more optimistic with the numbers. The reason being is based on how you respond to these questions, they will either approve you or won't for trading things like options and other things later on. So to make it easier on yourself, if they ask you your net worth, embellish it a little bit, right? So I'm just going with an example here. Just select something that makes sense, reasonable. Don't go like, if your net worth is 50,000, don't select like 30 million, okay, or something like that. Okay, so select something reasonable, embellish it a little bit. If it is on the lower end, embellish it a little bit, okay? Liquid net worth. Again, I'm not going to explain all what these mean, but just make it reasonable. Liquid net worth actually has to be less than total net worth. So this is where you want to select profits from active trading and speculation. This will be important. You also want to select growth and hedging, right? Ideally, you can select all four, but these three you should definitely select. Once you go here, you'll see stocks and options. Make sure options is selected. You don't have to trade options, but if you select it, at least you'll have access to trading them if you ever want to. All right. And over here, if you're completely new to trading stocks and options, again, same thing, embellish it a little bit. Say you have a couple years of experience. If you have none, if you have 2 years, 3 years, put that in. How many trades, go up here, just go 50 to 100. Keep things simple. And anytime they ask you for knowledge level, always select good or extensive knowledge. If you're watching this video, if you've been following me, Riz International, you're a masterclass student or an elite, you are pretty much, ahead of the game already. And even if you aren't there yet, you will eventually be at extensive knowledge. Okay, so feel free to select good knowledge or extensive knowledge. I'm going to actually select extensive knowledge just to kind of make sure we don't get, run into any issues here. Select 2 years, just, whoops. Okay, cryptocurrencies, you can select if you want. I don't really care about that. Regulatory information, answer that. Now, stock yield enhancement program, this doesn't cost you anything, doesn't change anything, pick this. It's good because if you own shares completely and IBKR decides to lend it out and generate income for themselves, they'll pass that on to you. Okay, select integrated cash management. Okay, this will allow you to contribute to your account via bill payments. Okay, it makes it easier if you want. You can also do all kinds of different contribution methods like wire transfer, EFT, electronic funds transfer, so on and so forth. All right. Once you select that, just maybe over here pick recommendation or just whoever. Okay. All right. And then we go next. Let's see what it allows us to do. Okay, so note this down. Here we are. Okay, so don't worry about all the individual details, but you can see here that I'm gonna blur out some of the information, but you can see here that you essentially set it up and you're good. And once you're good, you'll have the status, and it'll tell you, whether you're approved or not, and the next steps for getting your account funded. Pretty easy. Select all these and make sure they're selected and you approve, agree. All right. And yeah, that's about it. That's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I know people sometimes have issues with getting the clearance on certain trading products like options and futures and whatnot. So once you're set up, once you can fund your account, you download the platform, walk through their steps, download it on your phone, and once that's done, you can then go into account management and their portal and then select, other things. If you want more market data, like if you want, market data for, I don't know, like, specific European exchanges, you can add that. It might cost you, but you can add that. If you want market data, real-time pricing for futures, or real-time future pricing for OTC or very small, tiny companies, you can select that as well. So it's awesome. It gives you a lot of flexibility. It's a fantastic brokerage. Like I said, again, I'm by no means affiliated with them. Just kind of give you guys the my kind of views on it, and I think it's one of the best. Their execution is great, and you can use all the trading strategies that you can think of for options and stocks all in one. Okay, you don't need to worry about different account levels or access levels for trading options. You'll be given all available options trading levels in one, and of course stocks and ETFs as well. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this video helps you create an account, get things set up. What I will do is kind of give you a link either in this video somewhere in the comments or in the description with a video on different account types in Canada and US that you can select at IBKR as well, but to kind of give you a breakdown how they operate, plus how taxes work on capital gains and trading income, because a lot of people don't know that. So yeah, it's a super helpful video. I'll share that as well. And keep in mind, it's going to apply to Canadian and American residents, not if you're from another country. Okay, but still, it's a fantastic video to watch to get an understanding of how capital gains and taxation system works. Okay, so hope you've enjoyed this video and it's helped you, and hopefully you can get set up with IBKR and take your trading to the next level. All right, ciao.